Recording. 2 channels started.
Hey, today is Thursday. I'm doing Uber again after work. Tried it yesterday, only had 2 rides on Wednesday. After work, I was sitting near the airport, near my work. Nothing, so I started driving home. Drove home to Skyview Ranch, where I live, and eventually, after like 20 minutes, I got a ride. A young lady was going to Cross Iron Mills, so I made $8. But as soon as I dropped her off at that entrance 5 where the food court is, as soon as I dropped her off, I didn't even move. Like literally 30 seconds later, Uber gave me another ride. A couple from Cross Iron Mills was going to the hotel near the casino there, just basically south, back to my area. And we had a nice chat. So they're husband and wife from Winnipeg, Manitoba, visiting here, and I told them what sites are good to check out. They were asking about the TV tower downtown, and I said, yeah, we're gonna have a big festival this weekend. I think it's Latino, like a um, Spanish, kind of like festival. Because how I know, because I delivered 4 pallet jacks, the other day. 4 pallet jacks, the 5,000-pound ones. 4. It was hard to fit them in the pickup truck. And I delivered them to this park on 9th Avenue in downtown. And when I was talking to the guy, I said, where do you want me to drop it? He says, oh, you'll see a big tent. We're having a big festival this weekend. Just drop them there. And so that's how I know that there's a festival. I never saw anything on the news. Are we still recording? Yeah. And so, yeah, yesterday I made $20. Nobody gave me a tip. And so when I drop off that couple at the hotel, I see like the potential for earnings was very low. Like now, I'm near my home, and see how bleak it is, like all gray. This is where I am right now, just south of 201 of the ring road. And you see all this, basically it means like nothing. There's nothing here. Oh, actually, yeah, over here. See how low? That means low. High was at 4 a.m. and it's supposed to be high at 9 p.m. Actually, Uber sent me a notice. Be sure to go out tonight because there'll be high earnings potential. But if we check right now, so where I'm sitting it's pretty bad, but downtown is medium, not high, and the Northwestern University is low. Usually that spot is busy. Southeast is medium, and Southwest is pretty much same, slightly better than Southeast. And then outer north is really bad. Like if I take somebody to Cross Iron Mills right now, I'll be stuck there. So the best area right now, the highest earnings potential, and time now is 5:47, so 5:45. So the best is Calgary Southwest. You see that yellow? That's the current state of affairs. And actually it's gonna stay like that for another hour, but then it goes down. So yeah, today is not a good day for Ubering. And downtown, actually next hour, in downtown it goes up for 1 hour and then it goes back to the current state. So, and I had one offer from Lyft which I ignored because it was cheap, but Lyft claims that there's 2 to 5 minutes only waiting time based on 6 rides over the last hour. So over the last hour, Lyft only had 6 rides. And the way it works with Lyft, you just click on this where it says 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you click on this, and it changes to over here. It says view wait times. And you click on this, and it gives you this little color coded map. So red means very bad, green is the best, amber or yellow is moderate. And so right now, you see like downtown. No, that's not downtown. Hold on. Oh yeah, downtown is yellow, basically medium. But where I am, it's between yellow and green. So basically between moderate and good. So I'm right on the border. Oh, it actually says Skyview Ranch. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, what do you do? Tomorrow is payday, so I really don't need to be on the road. And Saturday, I have a customer picking up my Durango at 9 a.m. And so tomorrow, Friday, I'm gonna drive Durango to work, because on the way back I'm passing a Shell coin, car wash. So I'm gonna clean up the car, vacuum it inside, clean out the mats. Oh, and last time what was funny with the Durango, the previous customer sent me a picture of some package he found under the passenger seat. I looked, like, I check, the pockets and doors. I check here where there's you can hide your glasses. I already have 3 pairs of glasses that I found. Nobody wants them, so I keep them. I use them myself now. But what this guy, the previous customer, he says he was smelling something. There was some kind of an unpleasant smell inside the car, and it was coming from the passenger side. And he looked under the seat, and he found some plastic package. I think it was some kind of a chicken or meat or something. All right, hold on, we have a winner. 2 minutes away. Okay, let's take this.
Head to your pickup at 62 Skyview Point Green Northeast.
All right, so now we're
Turn
gonna
right on Skyview Ranch Lane Northeast. Then turn right on Skyview Ranch Manor Northeast.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn off Lyft because they don't have a pause button. And now, of course, you see, all I see is, oh, I think I picked up this very strange name, like Vietnamese or something. Just 3 letters. And so all I see is the distance. It says 500 meters and the name who I'm picking up. That's Uber, right? So I have no idea where they're going, how much it pays, but let's see. If I can make enough, like
turn right on Skyview Ranch Manor Northeast.
for
Turn right on Skyview Ranch Boulevard Northeast.
for a bottle of nice red wine. So that means that the wine is free. So why not, right?
Enter the roundabout and take the second exit onto Skyview Ranch Road Northeast.
So this is a typical residential.
Turn left on Skyview Point Green Northeast.
Typical residential area in northeast of Calgary. So my victim should be somewhere here. I just dropped off my passenger that I picked up in my area over there and took him to, there's a bunch of trucking companies on 40th Street Northeast near the airport. And when I picked him up, I finally could see the destination, and it says something trucking company. And so we started driving, and I look at him. He has a safety vest, And I said, so you a truck driver? He says, yeah. I said, man, I was driving for 17 years. And so he told me that he's married. They only have one car. So his wife needed the car today. So he's working night shifts, delivering food to major, grocery store like Loblaws and Real Canadian Superstore. And he likes working nights for some reason. A young guy. And so now he says his trailer will be ready for pickup, like preloaded trailer. He drives like Bobtail. He drives to Loblaw's warehouse, picks up this preloaded trailer, and then he delivers to Real Canadian Superstore, all these other stuff. And of course it's physical. And actually the guy looked quite beefy. So I would hate a job like that, but because imagine he has a full trailer full of pallets with food, and or food stuff. And he says quite often they want him to use a pallet truck and unload it himself. Or sometimes they let him use a forklift, but basically it's like idiotic. They expect drivers to do all the work and basically free work. Like he's a driver, right? So his job is to deliver dog to dog. It's not his job to unload, because he says he talked to his boss, and the boss says, yeah, it's supposed to be dog to dog. So you pick up a preloaded trailer, you take it to, let's say Walmart or whatever, Real Canadian Superstore, park it at the dock, and you sit in the truck, and they supposed to unload you. So basically same story everywhere. And I told him, I said, well, the worst job I had when I was a trucker, and it was actually similar to what he's doing, is when I worked for a temp agency, and they kind of they sold me or sent me to a food delivery company. Well, it's not just food. Basically, they specialized in supplying gas stations. So all these gas stations, like franchises, they had a contract with this company, so they could only buy like drinks, snacks, cigarettes, only from this particular warehouse. And they hated us because they hated the company. They thought that the warehouse was overcharging them, and so they always took it out on drivers. Like they treated us like slaves. Like whenever I would, first off, of course, I have hand bomb everything, and we drove 10-ton trucks. Like 2 axles in the back, and there was a tailgate, and I have to, hand bomb or use a pallet jack or whatever, or like a dolly, and they wanted us like no hi, no bye, no thank you. Okay, this goes in here, okay, this goes in here, and windshield wash. I hated windshield wash because it's so heavy, like it's a skid or pallet, right, with these boxes. Okay, and half of the skid with windshield wash put at the pump, and the second half put in the shed in the back of the store. Like I hated that job, but it was my first job where the pay was decent. It was right after I got my Class D, or here in Alberta it's called Class 3, license with air brakes. And so right away my pay jumped up. Look at this guy. My pay jumped up from roughly 10-12 bucks an hour when I drove a regular truck to 17 bucks an hour. And so I started driving for this company, well, still as a employee of the temp agency. So I was paid by temp agency, but this was like a long contract. So they kind of, each day I was going to this warehouse, delivering stuff to gas stations. And then I was talking to guys over there, because the warehouse also had its own drivers. And I started talking to them, and turns out those drivers were making, I forgot, either $20 or $21 an hour. you know. And so I talked to the recruiter. I said, how can I work for you directly? I said, I know I'm probably not supposed to ask you this, but you know, money is money, right? And they said, well, you seem like a good worker, good driver. We can buy you out. I said, buy me out? And they said, well, we have to pay kind of like a penalty to the temp agency, and then they're gonna release you, and then we can hire you. And that's what happened, you know. So I was super happy, even though the job sucked, but now my pay increased. So I was making close to like 20 bucks an hour. Holy moly. You know, like first time since I came to Canada. But then things went down and they let me go. And I remember I applied for unemployment, and I was doing unemployment for like 6 months. Was writing books, you know, enjoying myself, you know. And then eventually I went back to towing, because I used to do towing before. So yeah, so that brings some memories. So trucker, see, my passenger trucker. So when I told him I was a trucker, he's like laughing, you know. But he says, you're lucky you got out when you did, because he says right now the job sucks. And he also does Uber sometimes with his car. And he says Uber is no good. I said, yeah, I only do it part time. Like for example today, they let me go at 4 o'clock, right? And so I went to the gym for 1 hour. Then I came home, grabbed a snack, took a shower, but in the opposite order. Took a shower, grabbed a snack, and started the app, and there was nothing. And then I was about to start driving to the wine store to get some wine when they gave me this guy. But now I'm driving back home because there's nothing. Like again, if I click on earnings potential, well, actually it went up a little bit. It went up a little bit. So now it's kind of like medium. Oh, and by the way, this wine paid me $8.22. 8.22, and the bottle of wine is $8. So the wine today is free, and the distance was about 6 kilometers, 4 miles. So $8 for 4 miles. No, actually, it's like less than 4 miles, because it's 1.6. Yeah, it's like 3.7 miles. And so $8 for 3.7 miles is not too bad, except of course now I'm driving back pretty much the same distance. And so what I'm trying to do, guys, I know like one guy left a comment that nobody cares about Lyft and Uber. Well, you're wrong, sir, because when I do videos about Lyft and Uber, I'm actually getting better views than when I just show my work at the rental agency, you know. I'm getting more views because there's lots of people. There's 16,000 Uber drivers in Calgary, and they all want to know how to become a millionaire overnight, you know. So there you go. That's a start, right? $8 for 6 kilometers. That's how you make money. And then you drive back 6 kilometers empty. So, oh, by the way, the good news is that at least gas, like over here, it's crazy. I don't know why here prices are so. I'm looking to my left. There's a Shell, $37.9 for regular gas, which is crazy. I filled up just, you know, like 20 bucks the other day at a different Shell near my work, and the price for a regular gas was $29.9. You know, that's like 8 cents difference, And then I think I was driving and I saw somewhere downtown it was $1.24. But if you look at these prices, you would think that nothing is changing, whereas I noticed that gas is going down in price. So yeah, tomorrow's Friday, so I'm gonna take Durango to work so that I can clean it up after work, and I'm gonna print out the rental contract for the new customer, and he'll have the car for 6 days, and I'm gonna make only something like $450. Look at this guy. He went into my lane. And so I have to be careful, when there's 2 lanes turning, because some people don't pay attention. Oh, she's on the phone. That's why. She's on the phone, and it's a woman. Women drivers, right? So no, of course I'm kidding. Usually, actually, women are better, like especially professional, like women. When they drive trucks or lorries, they're better drivers. Okay, what's happening over here? Man, as usual, there's nowhere to park here. And you see, so I drove all this time and didn't get a single offer. Can we please go? Alright, that's it. That's the end. I'm gonna grab some wine and go home and work on this video. Okay, guys?